All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had a wonderful day. We have the CPI tomorrow morning, and there are a lot of implications that we need to go over. So I have the breakdown for you, and if you see the title, the CPI is fake. Why do we say that? One, if you are not aware of all the revisions on all of the economic data, I would get familiar with that. But now, number two, there is a lot of seasonal adjustments that factor into this CPI, and it makes sense why a lot of people are assuming that tomorrow will have a pretty big drop on the inflation report. So we have a lot to talk about. I got the plays for you. I got the keys. I have the very simple breakdown. Tomorrow headline, it's expected to come in at 4.1, and core is expected to go down to 5.2. We have the Fed right after. So how we really play out tomorrow, it's gonna kind of be a 1-2 punch. And if you are not familiar, youtube.com/the stock market, we will be going over all of this stuff live. So got all that for you. Make sure you drop your thumbs up on the video, but let's get right into it. So I have the breakdown. I got some bullet points, and I'm really gonna run through it to keep it simple. So one, you already know what is expected, 4.1 on the headline, then 5.2 on the core. Right now, the ongoing assumption is that inflation will fall dramatically tomorrow, and when that data comes in lower, that will confirm the pause at the FOMC the next day. Seasonal adjustments, not to mention a lot of other things working in the favor of dropping inflation. That is why people are feeling this way. The only thing that throws everything off of the rails tomorrow, it will be a hot reading. A hot reading will cause the market to reprice in a rate hike, and that will change everything, upset the Fed futures, and people will freak out. So if there is no big surprises tomorrow based on a lot of things, we should see a meaningful drop in inflation. Now, one thing that you need to keep your eyes out for, it's going to be goods inflation. This will be the other key besides services, and essentially over the last couple of inflation reports, goods inflation, the items, the inflation of items like physical goods, that has been going down. Even in other countries, we've been seeing that. So why am I bringing this up? Because any of the other countries that paused and resumed again, what happened with their inflation? They all started to see goods inflation start to run up after dropping. So if we do watch a meaningful uptick in goods inflation, even if services goes down, that might spook some people out there, but I would be watching out for that one. Otherwise, the services gauge, it's expected to have the biggest drop since September 21. All of that rent and the super core, that will clearly be a focus, but even on some of the other ones, just even little signs of it coming down is good. But like we're talking about here, the overall running assumption for tomorrow is that everything seasonally, and now I have it right here. This is one of the big things too. Not only is it the seasonal adjustments, again, CPI is fake, but don't forget about the base effects. So comparing anything to last year, when last year inflation was at like 8.1 in May, I mean, just imagine what this year over year is going to look like. There's a lot of things working in our favor there. So depending on what happens, if people just see little good signs, it should be good. But for the most part, everything should be down in CPI year over year. And if you don't see it down, that could raise some alarm bells. But for the most part, I don't think anything is running hotter than last year, give or take a couple of items. I know most of the index now is getting back below 4%. So keep your eyes out for that. But the final thing, it's already what I told you, barring any surprises tomorrow, the CPI should really just cement the pause. So if we do not get a surprise, inflation comes down to 4.1, maybe 4.0, 4.2. The general idea holds. You don't see any worrisome signs with goods inflation, even services, super core ticks down a little bit, or if everything just happens and we see some things, maybe super core goes up a little bit. But barring any major surprises tomorrow, if you get that, it's going to guarantee on the Fed futures that tomorrow will be a pause, and then it's all about the SCP from there, the summary of economic projections. Then we will begin to start looking ahead for the Fed, and then we're going to say, yeah, it's about the rate hike, but that summary of economic projections, that will determine the hawkishness or dovishness of the release or the FOMC on Wednesday. So don't forget any of that. Moving forward now, the next things we got to be watching for, there's a lot of things that could happen in the market after we go over these data hurdles. There's a lot of different levels, and that's what I wanted to show you guys here on the charts. But this is something unique, and hear me out here, because I started to draw more levels today, and we've been talking about this since when did you start seeing these lines start to show up? It was all around here when we just broke out that high. So I'm watching above 4,300 because it really does start to get crazy. It starts to go straight shots to the high 4,400s, 4,500, 4,600. Then before you know it, you're going to be right back at the all-time high, literally, not 52-week high. Sometimes I say all-time high when it's a 52-week. Yeah, so it's pretty wild. But what I'm saying here is maybe as we move forward, if everything goes well after all these hurdles, then maybe the market starts trading a little bit more away from that computer-driven movement, and we start to see some like real action and real return. I don't know. Maybe I'm going out there, but what I'm trying to say here is depending on how this week ends up here, I mean, this could clear the door for a lot, or you may be surprised after this next week. It might have the price go up, but that overlying anxiety in the market may still be overhanging, and then we get those types of moves. So watch out for that. But finally, just don't forget, although CPI is important, and then there's going to be the FOMC, there's one big thing right in the middle, and that is the PPI tomorrow. So that comes out right after the CPI, or CPI is tomorrow morning, and then the morning after, the morning of the FOMC, there's the PPI. So that will be big, and it'll also feed into everything else, but I do believe that CPI should cement it. The PPI will just make things confusing if that comes in hot and then CPI is not, but if it solidifies whatever the CPI shows, well, then there you go, and that's word to the Fed future. So hope you're ready for it. We'll see you there tomorrow morning, but let us get into the plays. So, right off the bat, pretty simple. I might just skip here to the end. If you haven't heard, I just said it. That's word to the Fed future / ZQ. And what I've been saying here this whole time is short the extremes and don't discriminate. Now, would I short this ahead of the Fed meeting? No. Especially after this data, I would wait till after Powell, maybe if there's a big discrepancy between CPI and PPI. But what I would be looking for is if the market does go 99% in any direction without discriminating, I would probably want to short it. So I think as we get closer to the FOMC, this will be better, but definitely watch the Fed futures tomorrow after the CPI, because this is what people are looking to cement. So that's play number one. But now let me jump back up to another one, maybe play number two, but Boeing. Do you want some news? This stock has a ton of news. It keeps getting news. The back and forth is insane. And now 230, it's a breakout level. I still have short shares from a while ago. I'm down on them a decent amount now at this point, but I want to see how this plays out. I may want to go for some options, protect some of the shorts, and you'll see on one of the other plays I'm going to show you. But either way, they've been getting news back and forth. There's a lot of order news that's like still pending. We heard like a week and a half ago about the Saudis, and then the other day we heard about Airbus getting involved with the Saudis. So nothing's been confirmed. You've been moving up, but 230 is a very big level for Boeing. So been getting a lot of back and forth, big mover, breakout level. Going to be watching them tomorrow. Play number two now is CRM, and this is the one I was talking about. I made an option play. I think I grabbed the June 23rd, like 235s, spent like $60 on it, but I'm looking for a bounce, and the reason why I played it was due to their AI conference today. I thought I'd get moves. I thought they'd come out and start talking about margin and AI and all this. Well, that ended up not happening, but I didn't want to play the shares because the stock is just rocketed up. They just had earnings. They're near highs. Again, they are one of these companies that have had those crazy rallies after people thought they were going to die in death and destruction. So wanted to make a play on it. Didn't want to get trapped in the shares. $50, $60 on the options. This thing moves a couple dollars every minute. thought it was worth it, and then we'll see if the AI stuff produces anything else. So watch out for them. And then the final play now, we're holding this one. It had a lot of weird activity, Intel, and when I say weird, I think it went up like 5% today, but it's one of these value breakouts. The reason why we bought it was related to the chip stuff. They've been underperforming. I think even Oracle had earnings today. They're related to cloud, but overall, there's just been this attitude of AI getting everything, even to the point the underperformer value technology cloud plays are getting involved. So I think it might need the right headline, but it's doing its own thing. It's holding. I'm still holding it as well, too. Going to be keeping my eyes out for them. And then all about the bonds and the Zaza, baby. But that's pretty much everything as far as any other plays. I think all I did, I sold out of JWN. We played that one from earnings. I think I got like a $40 profit or something like that. I closed out of Ascend and McRib. If you guys remember both of those biotech plays from the biotech video, I closed like $800 or $900 between both of them. So not too bad, but they were negative. They came positive. Or McRib was, Ascend was green from the PDUFA and all of that. And then I closed out the IBB. That was the flip there related to the Biogen. Even Illumina, they both went up, but they like gapped up. Then they sold off. The ETF had a small one, got like a $40, $50 gain. And then I think I made a flip on oil, and then that was about it. And I would keep watching oil too, especially I think it might bounce off 65, but we'll see. And now that's even worse than inflation and everything else. But Chattadonia, it's going to be a fun one tomorrow. We still have an exciting week. I will tell you this. Tomorrow is not pricing in a lot. It's only 0.8%, but that's because there's a lot of follow-ups. And as the market keeps moving big and even some decent-sized expectations, it all compounds into a giant move. So I hope you're ready. But that is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure hydrate healthy, ready to go. Make sure post your watch list. Make sure we see you there in the morning. Make sure you drink that water. Stay hydrated. Health. No, chat. All I'm thinking of right now is you need to stay resilient. You need to stay in the... I'm thinking that's word to open face, bro. That's it, man. You are worthy. You are in the game. Don't cheat yourself out of the opportunity. And, hey, you may talk a tough game, but don't overthink it on the back end and live up to it, baby, because you got it. That's it, Chad. I love you, man. God bless you all. I'm going to see you tonight. I'm going to see you in the morning. No, wait. I'm already here tonight. Then I will see you in the morning. And then, all right. Is that awkward? No. If I change it, is it... Okay, horn.